Teacher knowledge and behavior is the component of the model that focuses on teachers' knowledge of students and content and on their expertise in classroom management and pedagogy. Teacher behavior is the element of teacher knowledge and behavior that encompasses classroom management and pedagogy. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. A high school industrial technology class is entering into a collaboration with an architectural firm and the staff of a local museum. The teacher hopes to bring together 3 teams: the staff of the Hometown Prairie, Iowa Museum, the employees of Weatherall, Erickson, and Luxink Architects, and a group of computer-aided drafting and design students. At the beginning of the class period, the instructor manages a preview session to familiarize the 3 teams with the goals of the day's activities. This demonstrates content management, an element of classroom management.
The very first activity we wanted to conduct is one that would kind of give us an icebreaker so that we would get to know each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pair up mentors with students. And I think in one case we're going to have two students with the mentor. But we'll kind of see how it goes. I'm going to give the students a handout that they will attach to their clipboards. And the handout explains basically what the directions are for both the mentor and the student. And I will want you to take some time to read through this. And then after reading through the information, you can begin the activity, which will be constructing some type of architectural structure out of the K'NEX toy sets that you see around the table here. You're going to work as a team, you and the student, to build this structure. And when doing that, you can talk to each other about who you are, so you kind of get to know each other, and also discuss some of the fundamental reasons about why you're doing what you're doing. And you'll kind of see why I make that statement when you look at the handout that's here. So I'm going to pass this around, and I would like only the students to take that sheet.
One of the goals of the activity is to involve students in a unique collaboration that would enhance their knowledge of architecture and design, require them to develop and organize various resources, work well with others, and acquire and evaluate information. The teacher manages a group format as he initiates the first activities. This demonstrates content management, part of classroom management.
We would like for the mentors and students to look around and find someone who has your same month or close to the same month, and we would like for you to pair up. Then grab maybe a handful of K'NEX toys, parts, and you can go anywhere in the room to work together as a team to build this structure that you have on your slip. You can sit on the floor someplace, or you can sit at a table. You two decide, those who are in the team. Okay? Now we're going to spend 40 minutes at this, and then at the end of that 40-minute period, I'm going to give the students some time to talk with you about the issues that are on that clipboard. And after having spent some time on those issues and discussing them, then I'm going to call on the students to report what those issues were, how you worked around those issues, and there is, of course, a goal behind doing this, which leads to what we're doing for the rest of the day. So let's get started.
Students are paired with a mentor and are challenged to solve specific design problems using K'NEX toy sets. The teacher demonstrates content management, an element of classroom management, as he manages group in-class work. The students and their mentors discuss the best way to solve the problem, then start building. As they work together on the problem, the students and mentors are to relate interesting facts about themselves. The teacher will document student performance and the students' interaction with their mentors. The teacher demonstrates content management, part of classroom management, by managing a group format. While they work on their design problems, the students and mentors have to complete a worksheet that will help them organize their thoughts on their cooperation. The worksheet helps focus group concentration during the activity by having the participants reflect on their cooperative experience. The teacher also makes the participants accountable for their work. After the activity, the mentors are asked to share what they learned about the students they worked with.
I was going to have you relate something that you learned about each other very quickly. And so I think I'm going to pick on the mentors this time. And we'll start over here with John and just have John relate something about Liz.
Liz is not a member of the class, I guess. She's been asked to join the class because of other projects that she's working on with you.
That's true.
And she's going to go on to DMAC to study computer drafting. And she's a little nervous about that, but looking forward to it.
Erin?
I actually learned quite a bit from Andrew doing this. It was a really good experience. We started with the base and worked up and sort of thought, what can we do now? And so we flipped it over and started working up from the other way. So it was a good experience. I mean, it was a good creative sort of experience. It was good. So.
Then the students are asked to discuss their thinking process and how they and their mentors approach the problems.
I guess what I'd like for everyone to do when you begin to talk about the answers to these questions, I first want you to make sure that everyone knows what the project assignment was. And so with your little slip of paper, state that up front. And I guess I will just make time for this, but if you would like to make a comment, Alex, and each of you in turn, about your mentor, that's certainly appropriate. So I'll leave that up to you. And then you can get into your questions and answers.
Well, we had to build a building with a small base and a broader top than the base. We figured out pretty much right away that our base had to be small, but it still had to be very sturdy so that it could support the top. And then we needed like a support system, kind of like a backbone, kind of lifts this thing up through the middle there.
As the students and mentors present their solutions to the class and talk about their collaborative process, the instructor asks questions that encourage all the participants to reflect on their thought processes. The instructor is advancing student learning of vocational subject matter by engaging his students in activities that will enhance their mastery of skills and competencies they will need in the workplace. This demonstrates an element of pedagogy.
I would like to know to the person, the individual, if when you started, if you pre-visualized what you were doing. In other words, once you knew you were going to construct something, did you pre-visualize what that structure might be, even in the let's say in the beginning part, the elemental part? Did anyone do that? Pardon?
We kind of did a little bit once we got our base down and we kind of figured out what we wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, we did kind of discuss it before we went further, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, one reason I asked that question was because we're going to be showing you some drawings and things the students have done today in a little while. And as we're going through that and as we do the follow-up activity, which will be actually brainstorming to figure out what we're going to be doing in the collaboration, the same kinds of thinking skills that you're using here, visualization and higher level thinking skills that are taking place here. I want you to keep doing that throughout the collaboration today and keep that flexibility in there.
The teacher gives the students the opportunity to present some of their work to the other participants. The students have used various computer-aided drafting and design software, such as AutoCAD and 3D Studio Viz, to complete design projects. The teacher is advancing student knowledge of vocational subject matter by having his students use these specialized resources as they learn about architecture and design. This displays an element of pedagogy. At the same time, the teacher's understanding of industry-specific technology and of new developments in this technology display his knowledge of subject matter. This is another element of pedagogy.
We have kind of what is called a paradigm shift coming up in drafting, where in the CAD room, as soon as we get up to speed, we're going to be doing 2D drawings, yes, but we're also going to be doing a lot of 3D work and then generating 2D drawings from those. And so we're in the process of an evolution that's taking place in the workforce as well, and also in the software, but even though we'll still do 2D drawings, more and more 3D applications will be done in the future once we get our CAD lab up to speed, and we're making that change this year, another one, as far as getting more RAM and other technological improvements. There's also a new program out called Inventor, and that's going to enable us to cut time down. Some of these drawings that took 3 or 4 days, we can do in 5 minutes with Inventor. It's a faster way of thinking and designing and drawing, and we're going to be heading in that direction this next year with these 2 computers, and these students will be able to work with that program, and they'll be able to do things much faster than with this, AutoCAD. You can tell the difference in the classroom when they move from 2D design to 3D. There's a definite shift in the attitude and in the excitement level when they make that shift over to 3D drawing. And that's why this next year we're going to begin right up front with some 3D issues rather than waiting till 3rd trimester from now on.
The teacher is further advancing student knowledge of vocational subject matter by having the students interact with professionals from their community. The architects and museum staff involved in the collaboration act as resources that enhance the students' learning, and the chance to collaborate with professionals provides the students with an engaging experiential learning opportunity. This demonstrates an element of pedagogy.
Well, just one thing is the very interaction with you as professionals here is a very important part, I think, of learning and understanding how to get along with people, how to work with people. What do you do in collaboration? What are you going to encounter? Those students here, and most of them said they were going to go into architecture, right? A lot of you? Or looking at different types of fields related to this area. They're going to be working with people, and so the skills of being able to do that effectively are an important part of my program. And so that's one reason why we're here today.
The teacher demonstrates an element of pedagogy by creating a learning environment that allows the students to take responsibility for their learning. He acts as a facilitator for the students, but encourages the students to solve problems both individually and collaboratively before asking for his help.
One of the things that we do in class is I try to stress teamwork. In other words, when they have a problem, the first choice is to have them work that problem out themselves, to go to the online help, try to do it themselves. Then if there's a problem with that, talk with a teammate, discuss what solutions there might be. The last thing they do is come to me if none of those other options work out. So in this way, we're trying to encourage them to be self-sufficient, and they do a real good job of that. There are very few questions in a total year that I really have to answer because they usually solve the problems themselves.
All of the participants engage in a brainstorming session. They generate specific ideas about how the students and professionals could collaborate on the Hometown Prairie, Iowa project. The teacher demonstrates an element of pedagogy by promoting the development of collaborative partnerships. He works with professionals from the community to enhance his students' learning opportunities. The students have the chance to be proactive members of a community project. The teacher provides structure for his discussion by using various strategies to manage a group format. This demonstrates content management, part of classroom management.
What exactly are we collaborating? So we are collaborating. Are we like doing more of the architectural? What hands-on? What are we doing?
Well, that's
here directly doing certain architectural parts within the building.
I didn't realize what talents you folks have. You far surpass what I had expected. I could see you taking the perspective of a person, a visitor to Perry, walking through this building, for example, as we look at the 3D imaging you're doing. And what would it be like to walk through the front door of the building and then maybe take a look at that lamppost and how that would work. Something about Perry is people don't know a lot about Perry, but if this were to be accessed by other folks, and they could walk through the building without actually coming here, it might entice them to come to Perry and visit the museum or the hotel, Security Bank building. And this can just grow on its own.
The instructor demonstrates an element of pedagogy by engaging his students in activities that enhance their workplace readiness. The students take a tour of some local buildings that are being renovated. The architect for the renovation project is one of the participants in the collaboration. The students learn from an expert about some of the workplace expectations for architects, such as the need for cooperation and for flexibility.
When your teacher talks about teamwork, that is really crucial. Communication and teamwork, you know, between John and I, we talk every day so that we don't make mistakes. It's really a big issue to communicate with people and work as a team. You know, we have a construction team that we work with, and like you said, we have our weekly meetings where we talk to try to avoid expensive errors.
And what we encourage is that everybody's thinking about the big picture. You know, it's not you take my plan and okay, I'm gonna build it just exactly like I see. I've got kind of tunnel vision. I'm just doing this part of it. If you see the big picture and you see how your part fits into the big picture, you can avoid a lot of those problems, because then you say, well, why are we doing this when this might work a little better, or this might cost a little less? And then we have that conversation and you avoid all those kinds of issues that might come up. You will make mistakes out there. Don't let that scare you, because it's just like doing your projects. That's how you learn.
You have to be
Sometimes
receptive to suggestions and constructive criticism.
if you're going to be in architecture, you're not going to be a one-person isolated. Your idea is going to be exactly that. You have to work with all these people. You'd just be amazed how many people you have to work with.
Well, that's why we try to institute teamwork in the classroom. So if they have problems, they check with each other and try to work them out.
Everybody has a role. Everybody has a skill. You have to recognize people's skills and appreciate them, and then let them do their work. What comes in first? What comes in second? Here, well, let's talk about mistakes. A mistake was made here, or I think more of a change in where they wanted to put furniture. But we had furniture placed in one position prior, and the decision was made to move that piece of furniture over. Well, we had these conduit in for electrical wiring in one location, and we had to tear up the floor and move it over to make it accommodate this area. So, mistakes, changes, however you want to say it, happen, and you have to work through them.
So it points out you have to be flexible, basically.
They also learn how their technological skills will benefit them if they decide on a career in architecture or design.
Always something to learn here. Technology changes. You know, you guys are doing things I can't do. You might be surprised to hear that, but you guys are doing this 3D modeling and the software that I can't do it. And it's coming, and people are going to have to do it in our office, or I'm going to have to learn, or something's going to have to happen.
It's coming quickly, and it's going to replace, it's going to be very competitive, much more competitive.
The interaction with the architect and their instructor helps tie the field of architectural design to the world of the students. The students have the opportunity to learn how they can apply their skills in a specific career, and how they can further develop their skills to become successful architects in the future. The instructor demonstrates an element of pedagogy by creating a learning environment that motivates the students to become lifelong learners.
How many of you think you'd like to spend and work in an occupation where you solve these kinds of problems? Now, I realize that at this point your skills still need to be developed, but if you're going into an area that's related, or the area of architecture, you know, it will take more training, post-secondary training, and then the confidence will come and you'll be able to do these kinds of things. It's just a matter of time. You just have to spend the time learning and getting used to being a lifelong learner, basically.
If you're interested in this, I'd encourage you to get involved in, you know, becoming a mason tender. You're making the mortar for the mason.